Today I'm going to show you how to install this amazing 9-inch CarPlay screen on your Lexus IS. And this aftermarket screen is connected to my car. It shows me the speedometer here, shows me the real accurate time, a 24 hours front dash camera, and CarPlay for Apple users as well as Android Auto for Android users. In this episode, I'm going to show you the step-by-step installation procedure, starting from removing your old OEM screen as well as all the correct wiring and installing it back to your car. And to be honest, my car interior has never looked better. Would you believe it when I say this car is an 18-year-old car? Well, I made sure to modernize this car on each and every aspect wherever I could, including the premium Suede interior as well as the custom stitched steering wheel, the upgraded AC and heat duct, and a front dash camera. Alright, now let's begin with removing the OEM radio unit first, and I'm going to put the link in the description for the product, so make sure to go check it out if you're interested. Always remember, you should never use a flathead screwdriver or something metal to remove any of the panels here. You should always use a plastic pry, but if you don't have it, you need one of these plastic pries to make sure you don't damage any of the edges, because these are plastic and the metal flatheads will definitely damage them. The second thing to note is you need one of these bolt heads. I do have in front of me the 10mm. So first thing to do is remove these two silver panels. That will give us access to two bolts which are placed inside here, and the other two bolts will be placed inside here and here. And for that we will have to remove this AC air duct. So I'm going to point it out. It's going to be, one's going to be here, another's going to be here somewhere. What we need to do is use a flathead and kind of push it down to get an access to kind of remove this panel out. And as soon as these two plastics are pushed down, we can use the prying tool to basically pry it outside. As I was saying earlier, this is one of the bolts that you need to remove, and I think that's a 10mm. The other one is on the other side here. So thankfully this part is out. These were the clips that were holding it inside. Okay, so the other two bolt heads I was talking about is the one here, and the other one is just behind us here. Okay, I just put the gear in neutral so I have easy access for this to come out. There will be one plug for the cigarette lighter. There's a white plug that just needs to come out. There you go. So I think this will be now easy to just get it out. Okay, there you go. Okay, so this chassis here that you see will be used, and the one below that I'm pointing with my thumb here, this will be also used. The one on top, the black box here, is the TPMS sensor that needs to be relocated and reused on the other one. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start doing that while you guys watch. So after struggling to remove all these clips, I was able to remove it finally. I'm gonna go ahead and remove these screws from here so that I can install the new screen.
I have the OEM unit in front of me, and I have to remove the metal frames from both the sides along with the TPMS sensor.
And these frames will help me to retrofit the new aftermarket screen on the original CD player at the bottom. Once I take the upper radio unit apart, I can keep it aside and bring in the new screen. From the box, you will get all the necessary wiring harnesses required to connect with your car, starting with the complimentary reverse camera, some plastic trim tool, USB, GPS, Wi-Fi antenna, and the 9-inch factory-looking screen itself. I'm impressed with how they color match the bezels with the Lexus factory interior. Alright, let's start wiring. I'm gonna first start with the AC and hazard cable, followed by the black power cable connected to its canvas, reverse camera, RCA cables which is for the audio and video, the small black plug to power the cooling fan, and finally the USB ports. All of these connectors are unique and you will be able to identify and put them in place by yourself. Now it's time to retrofit the original CD player with the screen. Take your time and make sure you fit this properly. Now I can easily secure the fitting with the frames I removed earlier. I'm gonna put the bolts back, but keep a little wiggle room in case I want to adjust the position of the screen if required. Once I'm happy with the screen fitment, I can go ahead and tighten all the screws. And it looks good so far. Okay, now that I have installed most of the connections, this connection came from the wiring harness from the new set. This plug also came from the wiring harness from the new set. But this one will be left empty because it will go directly with the original cable that was connected to it. And then we have the canvas system which got connected. I have installed the GPS wire and the Wi-Fi antenna. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hide them inside here somewhere, or probably stick them inside here, because I don't want to put it on the windshield of the car. I think the range works pretty fine. If it doesn't, anyways, I'm gonna use the CarPlay. Main purpose of the screen would be to have the CarPlay, so I can pair it with my iPhone or my Android device, and then I wouldn't even need the GPS per se, but it's always good to have it. And then we have the audio video wires here. This is for the audio in right side. This is the audio out left side. So we have the audio figured out here. There's a mic here. If I want, I can go ahead and connect this external mic that they have provided inside the box. This product by default has a built-in mic system here. Now it's time to organize. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of get all these wires tucked in. Alright, so now that I've installed all the wiring on this aftermarket CarPlay unit, so here you will see that this plug right here is for this TPMS, and obviously you can understand from the way it looks, there are no other duplicates of these kind of connectors. So you will understand that this goes directly on here on the TPMS, and this is the OEM radio plug. So the OEM radio plug comes with an antenna wire here, the small one. This will be redundant. We will not use this one, and this antenna wire will go to the head unit here so that you can access your radio. This is your canvas. The canvas will follow all the wiring that comes along with it, and obviously you can understand from the plugs where it goes. Alright, I took the TPMS out just to show you the other wiring here, and most of the wiring will be labeled here. For example, this is the OBD cable here that connects with this long black wire, and I routed this wire out from here to go directly underneath, and it goes down underneath and connects with my OBD. And it is very important to connect the OBD cable so that your car speed and other information can be displayed on the aftermarket CarPlay screen. And the reverse camera will only display the output if you connect with the OBD port. Alright, so here's the reverse camera cable. I have explained in details on how to connect this reverse camera. The red wire goes and splices with this brown wire here, which is the third wire from the power. So black, red, and then brown. Some cars have this brown wire as a pink color, but that's the wire for reverse. So I just spliced it. I didn't delete the wire. So the wire goes and splices into two pieces. So this red wire is for the reverse signal. The brown wire continues and goes to the canvas. And obviously Mighty Tech Store does a very good job in pre-installing these small plugs so that you don't miss them out. And underneath the antenna, you will also find the GPS wire here that I just placed underneath here. You can see the white strip You can see the GPS is right here. I didn't want to place it on the car screen here for whatever reason, because I'm going to use the CarPlay anyway. And this still works fine as it is, just placed behind the head unit here. All right, now let's look into the audio cables. So this bunch of wires here that comes together, that goes for your audio. All the RCA wires will be here. All right, here's something very important to note on the RCA cables, that you only connect the white and red plug of your OEM car to the AUX in right and the AUX in left. And don't connect with anything else. For example, I kept all of these wires untouched, so you don't really have to use them with your OEM speakers. Obviously, you can use them if you have an external aftermarket subwoofer and you have external aftermarket speakers for your car. That's when you can go ahead and use these cables. So for the audio, the only thing you need to make sure is you connect with the AUX in right and the AUX in left. And this is the microphone cable that was provided with this head unit. This mic works just fine, but I'm used to the filtered sound quality where the voice is the priority. And this mic does not really do a good job in canceling out any kind of external noise. So what I'm going to do is today, I'm going to remove this microphone here and I'm going to install this microphone here. And this is a very nice high quality microphone that cancels out any external noise. And this has enough length to go through your car and take a route underneath it and then go by here. You can place it here. The reason why I want to place it here is because this area would be the closest location to your mouth, and this area will be easier for the driver to speak directly to. And I'll just tuck the wire in and put this one here so that it is easier to speak from. And obviously you can choose other locations for your mic. For the current mic that I got here, I routed this mic through here underneath this one and under the panel here that went down, and it comes out from here. So I'm going to remove this mic here and replace it with this one. All right, so the next thing I want to show you is I got a lot of questions on these cables here. These two cables will be redundant based on what your car came with. For example, as you can see, my car came without a screen as well as no navigation. I had to choose this cable, and based on my car's configuration, the way it came from the factory, this connector was redundant because it wouldn't fit. This connector was also redundant because it wouldn't fit. So the only connector that fit either from this, and the third one was this big wire here. It just goes and connects directly to your OEM cable. So you don't have to do any guesswork. You just have to understand that there are going to be 3 connectors provided in this wire combination with the orange, blue and white wires. So this one, and this one. So you just have to match the cable that fits directly with either one of them and leave the remaining 2 completely empty. There is also another cable that I kept empty because this was redundant. Speaking of redundant cables, there is this other cable that I had to leave it empty here. This is another cable that I had to leave empty because this was just something that is an extra feature, and depending on your car's model, if you have a connector from the factory that fits on this one, go ahead and connect it. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. All right, so as you can see on this head unit here, the OEM radio, the CD exchanger is still here. You don't have to connect any wiring here on the antenna. This port right here was the OEM cable. You just have to leave this empty for the antenna, but make sure to go ahead and connect those 3 big cables that came from the OEM. 2 cables has an extension connector that goes and connects, and one of the ports only connects directly to the OEM port. And that's pretty much it. I got a couple of comments on why I spliced these wires with a masking tape, and the reason why was because I didn't have an electric tape at that point, and obviously that is not safe. So I'm going to go ahead and replace these masking tape with electric tape. And also on this one, when I upgraded my AC and heat air duct, I put some plastic tape here for the time being. I'm going to go ahead and replace these with the electric tape. All right, so for the mic that I want to replace today, I routed the wire through here and I just had to pull this trim out. So if you want to remove this trim that goes here, you just have to remove this plate. Just pry this plate open, and once the plate is out, you can just literally pull this trim out, and it's just connected with these plastic connectors. And after that, I get access to the mic that I installed here. This is just installed with a double-sided 3M sticker. So I'm just going to remove that, and then I'm going to replace with this upgraded mic and route it from here all the way up. Goes right here, and the mic will just be out from here. There are 3 ports here that are empty that you can use for anything, for any switches that you want to install separately. So what you have to do is just press on the clips here. So for example here, for my case, I will just press on this right here, and then it will come out right straight. All right, so for this mic here, I have this A-pillar, and I just have to pull this out slowly, very carefully, because there's the airbag here. I don't want to disturb any kind of airbag. So that's the airbag right there. And I just need to gap it a bit so that I can tuck in my wires in from here and put the mic out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roughly clip the mic in here temporarily and then route the wire basically tucked in here just to get the idea for what length of wire I need. And then I'm going to properly tuck in the wire once my cable jack is routed from underneath and connected to the mic here. So once I'm done with all the connection, I can then go ahead and properly tuck in all the wires. The only other thing is I want to use one of these ports for my USB outlet here. And as you know, this aftermarket CarPlay screen comes with two USB outlets. So one of the USB outlets is right here. I just connected to the respective USB port here and then routed the wire to come out from underneath here, and I'm using one of the ports for my TPMS connector, and I have full step-by-step tutorials for everything you see on this video here. So for example, for the TPMS sensor here, the reverse camera, the front dash camera, as well as the configuration for the whole screen, I have a whole playlist on how to modernize your Lexus IS, so make sure to go check those videos out. I have one of the ports right here which I have connected with the TPMS, and the other port I have is connected right here, and this USB port is used for the front dash camera, which is here. This is an ADAS front dash camera, which is an advanced driver assistance system, and this will give you a lot of features such as lane assist and voice input, etc. So I'm going to keep this intact and hide the wires in here, and instead of hanging out from here, I want to be able to hide the wire through in and connect it and bring the wire out from here. So what I did is I went ahead and placed an order with Mighty Tech Store for a USB wire extension, and this right here is a USB 3 1-meter extension cable. So what I'm going to do is I will connect the USB port from here and reroute the wire internally to come out directly from one of these ports. And the game plan is, what I want to do is I want to cut out a square that directly sits on here, and then I can feed my USB cable directly inside through it. So then the expectation is to have it look like this and sit directly, but obviously not direct on here. It will be sitting on one of these things so that it looks completely flush. So the reason why I'm doing this is because this makes my car look much more cleaner without any wires hanging out. And obviously I can put any USB or any external device to read information and display it directly on my aftermarket CarPlay screen. All right, so I just heated a knife and used the kitchen torch just to cut out a hole here like this. And once I take this plastic trim out, then I can go ahead and put my USB extension cable here, and then I'll be able to adjust it in. And after taking some material out, here is the final result. This looks super clean. So I'm going to go ahead and install it in the car. All right, so now I've put the USB extender here, and I'm just going to put it back in, and let's see how it looks. It's very flush and looks very natural, to be honest. It looks very factory. So now I'm going to go ahead and pull the wire from the back, reroute the wire from here, go back here, and take all the wires out from here, as I've done for my ADAS dash camera and my mic. All right, so I installed the aftermarket CarPlay screen and the AC and heat air duct. So I'm going to turn the car on the battery mode just to test if everything works properly. And I'm going to also test out the new USB system here. For now, I'm just going to go ahead and put my TPMS sensor here and just to see if the screen reads it. There you go. So the car turned on. I'm just going to go ahead and plug my TPMS in. How is it always 50-50 chance and I never get it? There you go. So I put my TPMS and the screen just popped up with the TPMS sensor, and it currently reads all the tires. I have 2 tires on high alert, so I'm going to top up the air when I'm free. That means the USB connector works here. And for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this as an additional accessory. So for example, whenever I want to monitor the status of my tires, I'm just going to go ahead and plug it in the USB port here. And as soon as I plug it in, it's going to read out my information of all the tires and show automatically what's the status of all 4 tires. And this way I can just unplug it and it goes back to normal. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this as an additional accessory in my glove box so I don't clutter my space here. And there's going to be no wire that comes out from here. or underneath the car. And for the mic, I put the microphone here. I know there is a small gap here, but that's because of the clip that was behind. And obviously the CarPlay screen works absolutely phenomenal. I have a full review on my aftermarket CarPlay screen. You have access to Spotify, Siri, and everything else that a CarPlay screen usually has. And I also have the car scanner app. You can go ahead and check the link in the description for a full in-depth review of all these other things that I'm talking about. For now, I'm going to go ahead and complete the job and close this trim. Alright, so this is how you can install an aftermarket CarPlay screen on your Lexus IS, and I absolutely love this product. This is my front dash camera, and this is the ADS. This is just the TPMS, giving me an alert for the low pressure tires, and the functionality is absolutely phenomenal. The touch is so nice and smooth. Just check how smooth it goes everywhere. And this specifically is the TS10 or TS18 model, which I absolutely recommend. So I'm going to put the link in the description for this product, as well as the ADS here, and all the other accessories that I used in this episode. And additionally, I have a full tutorial on how to set your boot logo to any image that you want to show up as soon as you turn on your car. Alright guys, that is it for today, and if you guys learned something new, hit the thumbs up button and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, I'll see you on the next one.